are listening to the Musical Mind Podcast with your host, Peter Harris.
Hey guys, Peter Harris here. Thanks for tuning back in. I want to go over just a few of the upcoming albums and projects from some of the guitar players that I admire that are coming up this year, 2020. Now, this is by no means a comprehensive list. It's actually a pretty short list. Just some ones I know off the top of my head that I want to go into. And let's be honest, it's hard to keep up with everybody. I mean, there's so much music out there. It's all so readily available that it's almost too much. And I try to keep my finger on the pulse of the music business. I'm constantly writing about it or talking to one artist or another, but still, I come across things every day where I'm like, oh, they had a new album out, or how am I just not hearing about this collaboration between these guys? It's pretty easy to fall behind. You can't keep up with everything. But first off, KK Downing, formerly of Judas Priest, has formed his new band KK's Priest. Now, when I saw that name, I was like, oh, is this kind of Bobby Blotzer's Rat? I was, afraid of. But actually, he has former Judas Priest singer Tim Ripper Owens and former drummer Les Binks in the band. So it's actually pretty heavy on Judas Priest DNA. So that's got some merit, and I'll be looking forward to hearing that. Joe Satriani, new album coming out, Shape-Shifting, due out in April. And of course, he's already released the single 1980, and he is one of the cornerstones of instrumental guitar. So that's always something to look forward to. Steve Lukather just tweeted out a couple days ago, actually, that he's working on a new solo album. So hopefully we'll hear that sometime this year. That's always good. I mean, that guy's been on every recording in Western history. Look it up. It's a fact. Al Di Meola has a new album out called Across the Universe, due in March. So that's coming up soon. And you can actually pre-order it on his website right now. Big news, King's X, their long-awaited new album, should be out this year. And it'll be the first studio album recorded since 2008, actually. So the members have been individually busy on other projects, of course, and, Doug has done a bunch of collaborations with George Lynch and other people, but this will be the first, studio recording from King's X in several years, so that's good news. Another great guitar album that came out recently, actually just this past December, is by Nili Brosh. Her album Spectrum came out great reviews. It's a fantastic guitar album. It's got numbers from like the quirky tempos of things like Desert Deja Vu to like the jazzy tune Solace. It's a great listen. Of course, she's a phenomenal player, fantastic feel and technique. And she actually called me earlier today, and we went over this album again. We'd spoken last year before the album came out, and went over some different things. But this time we just sort of recapped how she recorded the album, what rig she used, what guitars. I was hoping to hear about some more tour dates, and I wasn't disappointed. She does have some more dates coming up in the future, East and West Coast. So that's good news. And actually, let's just go ahead and check in with Nili and see what she has to tell us about it. Like, for Spectrum, what equipment did you use? I mean, were you doing any direct recording? What amps were you using? Did you use 3 guitars for the whole album, or did you have your arsenal, or what did you all utilize?
So as far as like the recording goes, I used my JSX head and my Ignitor cab pretty much like primarily for the record, and all the electric guitar stuff went that way. Even some of the tones that are more like, let's say in quotations, keyboard based to match the stuff in gentrification and in resistance beats and stuff. Like I had the whammy pedal going through, but it was still like going in the front of the amp. So it was everything. It was just like miking the amp, going old school that way, just getting like the bare tones and then going from there. And I used several guitars. Like I used both of my main 7-string, for certain things. Like I don't remember what went on what anymore, but it's the 1527 and the 2727 RGs. And then I used my RG 550 for a lot of stuff. And then I used my semi-hollow, the AS93, for like Solace and, some of the more, smoother, clean tone type stuff. And then I had a Cordoba Studio Negra for the nylon string stuff.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that was just roommate.
I was going to ask you that in passing. I'd forgotten I was going to ask you. Have you seen those new like the Nilo casters, or it's not an Ibanez product. It's a electrified nylon string for like playing.
Yeah, I mean, they have it's a thing like a nylon string electric,
Mm-hmm.
and or ones that plug in. I mean, they're two different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like the one that I have plugs in, and I thought about going direct, but it wasn't like really the sound of the instrument that we were looking for, so.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Are you planning on touring for most of 2020 in support of Spectrum, or what's the game plan?
Yes, I will be doing some touring with Spectrum, and I actually I have a new gig now that I just heard back about that I can't really talk about yet.
Okay.
But it's gonna be something really cool.
There you go. Breaking news. You can't know about it.
Yeah. Well, actually, you didn't hear anything, so I don't know.
Right.
So who said that? Yeah.
Have you ever thought about? You obviously had a good time last year doing this. Have you ladies ever talked about recording together? You and Gretchen and Jennifer Batten, like doing even just a song.
We're definitely gonna do more shows. Actually, like that's one of the things that's definitely happening.
Good.
But we're doing actually some East Coast stuff coming up in June. But yeah, I mean, I think we will, and with Spectrum and Gretchen being on Andalusian Fantasy, like that to me, like I wrote that song for us to play together, so like I'm really glad that she was down to do it and record it and do that. So I mean, I'm hoping that we play that live sometime, but we've definitely, we've talked about it, and it's more, I think it's all just a matter of schedules and timing, because we really like each other. We like working together. We've now discovered after a few shows, we wanted to make sure we all like each other, but yeah, we had a really good time. So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's a very real thing. You could love somebody's music and just be a huge fan and get on tour with them and be like, I don't like touring with this person. I mean,
exactly. I mean, Gretchen is one of my best friends for a long time, but like both of us, we knew Jennifer, but like, it's not like the three of us as a trio, like really knew each other that well. And so we were just like, we don't know until we know.
Sure.
And it was a great surprise. Not surprise. No, it was great.
Yeah, and that's cool. I'm glad to hear you guys are going to do some more dates together. That's good news. For you personally, do you tend to swing back and forth? Like for instance, when you're playing with Death Clock, does that get you in the mode of playing heavier, or when you're done with it, do you kind of tend to be like, "Ooh, I'm ready to play some jazz," or break out the arch top, or does that affect you that you notice one way or the other?
Not really. I mean, I guess it could be either or. I mean, it's just like those times end up just being really inspiring in whatever way it manifests itself, just because it's like, again, when you're lucky to be working with people that you like and have a good time with, it always just becomes like a great memorable experience. And to me, like that's what ultimately brings inspiration. It's like about the people and everything. So that might be like, delving more into the realm that I was just in, because that's just what I surrounded myself with, and I might have like taken things from it, and like the music gets stuck in your head and all that kind of stuff. So it could very easily be that, but it could also very easily, like you said, just be like, oh, I'm home now, like, I want to like cleanse my ear palette on something else for a minute. Like it's day by day, but like that's part of why like I've studied so hard to be able to play different kinds of music, because I found very early on that I do get bored, and I didn't really know what to do about that in the beginning, so I was like, okay, it's worth like working on these things that I'm not as familiar with, because keeping it fresh in the long run is probably a good idea. And I guess that's how we come back to Spectrum, right? So
right. Aha!
I guess it's both.
Right.
Either or, I guess.
No, it's definitely the more tools you have in your arsenal, it enables you to do more.
And it's funny because like people do ask me about that sometimes, or like they're surprised to hear a different genre or something like that, and I'm just like, but it's all music, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's like if I'm a musician, then what's surprising about me liking different kinds of music? Like that's what I'd hope that musicians would be the people that are open to that, you know, because it's like it's all the same, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm happy, and it's the same thing. I think when people play with me, sometimes they like expect me to only want to play lead or to like feel like I need a lot of solos or you know that kind of stuff, and like I don't feel that way at all. Like I'm very happy to play whatever I need to play because it's just again, it's all music. It's all
Right. And the
I
way
love music, you know. Like I just can't say it simpler than that.
and the way the rhythm, I mean, interacts with the leads is just as interesting as the playing a lead. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
and it's just as challenging and in different ways. That's what people forget. It's like the guitar is a versatile instrument, and every role that it's going to have is going to have its own set of challenges to it.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't understand the people who really, unless it's just really their passion, but people who just pigeonhole themselves to one genre. It's like eating the same meal the rest of your life. It's like, that's not fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
yeah,
agree.
hamburger's
Yeah.
delicious, but I don't want that every day. Yeah. Well, cool. And so I want to make sure that everybody knows, if they don't, shame on them, but where they can check out Order Spectrum, your website, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, well, the easiest place to go is my website. It's nilibrosh.com. So Brosh. And then there's a link to the store there for all my merch and CDs and you know everything else, tour dates, everything that's coming up. And then I have my socials. My Instagram is the same, NILIBROSH, and then my Facebook is just Nili Brosh Music.
There you have it. Well, good. Well,
Yeah.
I for one, am looking forward to see it if you get out in the East Coast. I'm not on the coast, but I'm in Tennessee, but at least that's somewhere closer to my geographical area.
Well, I mean, stuff is being booked right now, so I don't know if how far down it's going to make on the same run because I'm trying to do different things with it, but
right.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We will see. It's all we can do. All right. Well, thanks, Nili. It's so good to talk to you again, and I'm looking forward to just keep abreast with everything that's coming down the road for you.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
I'll talk to you later.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.